10 training slide. If you're on the web portion, that would be fantastic. And once we get that confirmation, we'll get started. Monty, thank you. Brian, computer doctors. All righty. Yes, Michael, I can see you're here. Awesome. All right, very good. You get credit for being here, Michael. How's that? All righty. We got a few others dialing in here, but since you were all here on time, I'm a big fan of being punctual. So let's get started. Again, this is, for those of you who just joined, line is muted, but the chat box is your best way to communicate with me throughout the presentation. And this is live and in color. So if you want to communicate, have a dialogue as we go through here, any questions, feel free to fire my way. If there's a question that doesn't apply necessarily to the topic of today's conversation, just to keep this thing from getting sideways, I may table that question for later, maybe follow up with you after the fact, just to keep us on task here. I certainly want to answer all your questions. I don't want to dodge any questions, but at the same time, we do want to make sure that we keep to our time commitment. So that being said, we're going to dive in here. Some of you may be wondering, okay, Perfect 10, who's Perfect 10? What's that all about? I thought we were having a DirecTV training today, and we are indeed having a training on DirecTV's product offering. However, I work for a company called Perfect 10, and my name is Reggie Kurtzy, and I have the unique opportunity of working with the largest face-to-face selling organizations in the country, and been done that for quite some time. I've actually been with Perfect 10 for 10 years, and I've been focused primarily on this face-to-face selling tactic for opportunity for about, I don't know, 7 of those 10 years. And so as a result, I've been able to not only work side by side with the best in the business, but also help develop some content that helps others like you not have to reinvent the wheel and kind of take the best practices and apply them in your own business locally wherever you're at. So here I am today to deliver one in a series of 4 different trainings. They're all different, and they're all kind of just how to get from zero to hero in selling this product face to face. And so whether you're brand new and this is day one of your career, or maybe you've been around for a bit, but you're looking to kind of brush up on the basics, this is a great place to be. And today, again, is our 100 level, 101 level training on DirecTV. Today, we're going to talk about the product itself. But before I get there, Perfect 10 or Perfect Vision, just to give you some background on us, who are we and why am I here? Perfect 10 is our parent company. We are a distribution partner for DirecTV, so we manage all of the stuff that makes DirecTV work in the home. The set-top boxes, satellite antennas, the coax cable, we actually manufacture that. We're DirecTV's only approved SKU for coax cable, and what they use as an approved part for the installation of this. We've got a long history, obviously, as an organization, 35 years now, that needs to be updated, and a great relationship with DirecTV. And our situation is structured in a fashion that when you are successful, we can be successful. And so our mission through stuff like what we're going to do here today is to help you be more productive and more successful out there in the field. Now, DirecTV, since that's what we're all here to talk about here today, I want to help, for those of you who are brand new, I'm going to help give you some vocabulary. When you're talking about product and service and you're brand new, you need some help with your vocabulary, right? And what it is you're going to talk about. And so I'm going to give you a couple of bullet points in addition to some very specific offered training here today. We're hopefully going to accomplish that all in the next 30 minutes. And the first of that is just some backdrop on DirecTV. DirecTV's been around since 1994, about 21 years. And since that point in time, since they started 21 years ago, they've added over 30 million, I believe it's 38 million customers now worldwide. So 38 million consumers in the world, that's between U.S. and Latin America, which makes DirecTV the largest pay TV service provider in the country today. And in addition to the overwhelming success in adding new customers to the platform, they've also got a very well-recognized brand. DirecTV has been very good at brand placement, whether it's flying the blimp around at the sporting events or advertising, sponsoring sports arenas, to flooding inboxes with direct mail, and you name it. DirecTV's done a really good job of getting that logo in front of folks. which makes them a very well recognized brand. Now, in addition to those top two, it's one thing to sell a lot of product, and it's another thing to have people recognize who you are. But to do all of that in that capacity and to do it as one of the best from a customer service standpoint is indeed unique. And J.D. Power and Associates ranked DirecTV, or ranks a lot of companies, but they ranked the paid TV service industry last year. And DirecTV has won J.D. Power's Customer Service Award 14 years running. That's 14 years in a row. While DirecTV is not perfect, certainly there are situations where you're going to bump into some customers who may have had a bad experience, and it usually happens when you're brand new because you go through some training and you hear somebody like me talking about how great DirecTV is, and the next thing you know, you got to talk to some customer that got really rear-ended 5 years ago and is pissed and will never do business with DirecTV again, right? So while we're not perfect, we are the best in the industry at what we do when it comes to customer service, and that is meaningful when you talk about a brand that is as exposed as DirecTV is and has added as many customers as we've added. So it's a big deal. And again, some talking points for you when you're out there speaking with customers. So a couple of one-liners I like to use, and in our business, we call ourselves professional salespeople, and we are professional salespeople, but really it's not selling that we do the most. Really what we're doing is engaging folks in genuine, candid conversation. The majority of our day when we're out there talking to people is to engage them in a conversation that is genuine enough for them to hear what we're saying and be interested in us presenting some type of an offer to them. The sale then, of course, is just a natural byproduct. But our job is to engage folks in conversation. And so some of those ways to do that is to really play on what makes us good. And when I go out and do my face-to-face or live trainings out in marketplaces, I always like to ask some of the salespeople who have been selling in that area, I like to ask them where we stack up when it comes to cost. A lot of times in most markets, actually probably about 5% of the markets I've been to, DirecTV is straight up cheaper than our cable competition. Now, there are a few markets, I guess, where that may not be the case, but for the most part, DirecTV is cheaper, meaning cost-wise, it is less cost than the cable competition. Again, we're comparing apples to apples here. I'm not saying a bargain basement cable package compared to DirecTV's premier package with genies and clients, but apples to apples, DirecTV is straight up cheaper than cable in those markets. If you are in one of those 95% markets where it is cheaper than cable, and this statement that I'm about ready to give you will add up. And this is a great way maybe to start a conversation with somebody who may be kind of random, kind of a cold conversation where you don't have any depth there. You could say, and I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but DirecTV is cheaper than cable, has a better picture quality than cable, and has more channels than cable. How long have you had your cable service? Could be a great way. I stole that line from our Senior Vice President of Sales at Perfect 10, but it's one that I found that works well, not only in a face-to-face conversation on the door, but even maybe at an event or some type of place where it is in line at the grocery store, believe it or not. DirecTV is cheaper than cable, better picture quality than cable, and has more channels than cable. How long have you had your cable service? We'll speak specifically to why those second two are valid in a second, but for now, that could be a line you may want to write down in your notes. DirecTV's got into sports, so I don't think it's any secret. You go into a sports bar or sports book anywhere in this country, DirecTV is going to be on top. When it comes to full-time HD, DirecTV wins there as well. And most ethnic programming, we're talking about Filipino, Hindu, Chinese, Russian. Most cable MSOs don't even try to go down that road, right? They may have a little bit of a Latino offering in addition to English programming. But when it comes into the ethnic stuff like Filipino and Hindu and Russian, they don't even go there. And for us, it's a great niche if you find yourself speaking some of those languages or in some of those circles. It'd be a great way to take DirecTV to the market. And then last is best technology. And obviously, I'm a pretty big fan of DirecTV. I've had DirecTV for a long time, longer than I've worked with DirecTV, mainly because of their sports content. But the genie and the client offering that DirecTV has today is bar none one of the best video experiences in America today, and you're going to see why that is today as we go through the basic technology. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of DirecTV and really understanding our product before we actually go have a conversation about it with somebody, I want to set you up or start you off with this. I've been in professional sales for almost 20 years now. It makes me kind of feel old when I say that, 20 years I've been in professional sales. When I first got started in sales 20 years ago, This was a line written by Zig Ziglar, the late Zig Ziglar, who was a motivational speaker and a writer back in the time. He was a sales guy, really good sales guy. This was one of his taglines that he lived by. And when I read this and applied this, this really was kind of a game changer for me in sales. So if you're new in sales, and this applies no matter what product you're selling, but if you can really get your head around this phrase, it can help you in this business. And his tagline was, when you help others get what they want, you get what you want. If you can help enough other people get what they want, you too will get what you want. Now, what do other folks want with regard to our business today? What people want today is a better value for TV. They want a better value. It's not necessarily cheaper. Everybody wants cheap, but a better value. They want to get the most bang for their buck. No matter what publication you read on pay TV, it's always about how can the customer get a better value. You hear about people talk about a la carte or on demand and all these things. What they're asking for, they want the content. They want the best content out there, and they want it for the best possible price. And if you can help folks get a better value and experience with DirecTV, then you and I will get what we want, and that's a sale. Clever thing to put on a slide. It's a little bit different to internalize that and literally walk around during your day believing that you are out to help other people get what they want. And truly delivering, if you will, the good news of DirecTV. So let's get into the technology. And again, this is not an installation training today. I am not an installer. You do not want me installing this stuff. It may or may not work when I install it. You obviously want a professional installation tech doing that for you. Today is about sales, but we need to understand enough of the technology so we can speak intelligently when we're talking to a prospective customer. And so we're going to go through that very high level technology right here today. Let's start with the basics. DirecTV uses a fleet of satellites to deliver the content. So 22,000 miles up in the sky. And again, if you guys have questions as we go through this, utilize that chat box and fire off some questions. But DirecTV uses a fleet of satellites, 22,000 miles up in the sky, to deliver the content from the folks that produce it. ESPN, ABC, CBS, Fox, all of those providers, Nickelodeon, they deliver their content to DirecTV, and then we shoot that up in the sky 22,000 miles and back down to Mr. and Mrs. Smith's home. Now, why is that important? Some people say, well, what's the big deal right here? Okay, so what? Well, because of the way we deliver this technology, it allows us to deliver, allows DirecTV to deliver what's called a pure feed to the consumer. So when I said earlier that DirecTV is cheaper than cable, has a better picture quality than cable, and has more channels than cable, the reason for those second two is because we deliver a pure feed. Now, to highlight this more, let's compare that to the competition. Let's talk about cable for a second. The cable company, not only are they sharing space, but they have different products and additional products that they offer. They're selling video, typically they're selling phone, they're selling internet, and they have one pipe going down the street that's delivering that content. Now, physics states that you can only put so much in a pipe before something has to give, right? There's only so much room in that pipe I can shove stuff into. And right now, the cable companies, the cable MSOs, what they're doing is trying to increase bandwidth for internet because everybody's screaming, I want faster internet speed. I want faster internet. Well, if I deliver more or faster internet speeds, more bandwidth dedicated to internet, something else is going to have to shrink. And so what the cable companies are doing is they're overly compressing that video signal, which at the end of the day means the customer is going to suffer from a quality standpoint on their TV. That means we're going to have a better picture on the TV. Actually, that really starts to ring true when we start talking about 4K TV, which is coming, right? 4K TV. It's one thing to talk about HD, but 4K is coming, which is 4 times the size, right? It's 4 times as much data than a typical 1080 picture. So we have the ability to deliver that because we are not at the mercy of having to overly compress that video signal. Basically, we take what they give us, we encrypt it, right? We have to encrypt it so people don't steal out. We shoot that stuff up in the sky 22,000 miles and back down to this home. Now, video on demand, a little bit. We use a lot of acronyms at DirecTV. If you got your pen and paper handy, you're going to want to try and identify and define some of these acronyms. VOD stands for video on demand. Video on demand does not come via the satellite antenna on the side of the home. video on demand is delivered via the customer's high-speed internet connection. Now, DirecTV doesn't do internet. We are strictly video. We partner with some people who do internet. We partner with Verizon and AT&T and CenturyLink and Frontier, others, right, to provide internet partnerships, XC, direct satellite broadband. We partner with those folks, but we don't do internet on our own. And so what we want to do is we still want the customer to have access to what's called video on demand. That's going to come from a high-speed internet connection. We're going to plug that into whatever internet they have. And we are not monogamous. We can plug into the high-speed internet connection and get the customer the high-speed or the video on demand content that is available. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. Lead installation, typically it's a one antenna solution. So that satellite antenna that you see on the side of the home only takes one, unless of course the customer is looking for some, Filipino or Hindu, something like that. That international content will require two antennas. But if it's general market or Latino, the in Espanol offering that we offer today, that would be one antenna, which you see there on the left. That's the technology outside the home. Again, I told you it's going to be a really high-level overview. So we got technology on the outside, the satellites in the sky, delivering content to the antenna on the side of Mr. and Mrs. Smith's home. Now let's go inside. As I mentioned earlier, the content is encrypted. So we need something that decodes that content once it gets inside the home, and that's called a set-top box. So every TV in the home that wants to access DirecTV content must have a set-top box. And we have a couple different set-top boxes. We're going to keep this very simple for today's conversation. But the first set-top box that I want to share with you is the DirecTV Genie. The part number for that, if you're using the DirecTV order form, is HR44. So in your notes, DirecTV Genie, HR44. This set-top box has 5 independent tuners built into it. So it can tune to 5 different TV stations all at the same time. Now, obviously, you can only watch one at a time. So what that allows you to do is watch one while you record up to 4 more and save them to the hard drive, right? Or you can watch 2 at the same time, I guess, if you have picture-in-picture, and 3 would go to the hard drive. It has a 1 terabit storage. Now, I'm kind of a geek when it comes to technology, but even I don't really know how much 1 terabit is out of context. It's a lot. So for your notes, 1 terabit means, from the customer's perspective, that the Genie will record and save up to 1,600 of the customer's favorite shows. That's 1,600 half-hour standard definition shows. If you want to translate that into high definition, you could say 200 hours of high definition count, which would be 400 shows per half hour. So terabit of storage, huge hard drive. One of the biggest in the industry, and by the way, that 1 terabit, thanks Richard for that, the hours, by the way, so how many hours will it hold? 200 hours of high def, 800 hours of standard def. And if you want to turn it into shows, which is really how the customer thinks, you can say up to 1,600 of the customer's favorite shows. That's 30-minute shows in standard definition. However you want to spend that, you've got 3 different numbers you can use there. You use that however you want to, but again, significant. And what's great about DirecTV storage is that it's all being outside of a very small portion of that. Almost 100% of that is usable by the consumer. There's a lot of people that will have bigger hard drives, but they're segmented. So half of them is so that the company can push a bunch of data down to them, and they still only have the 1 terabit available to use. Whereas with DirecTV, the majority of that 1 terabit is customer use. Whole home DVR, this allows the customer to watch the show in one room and pick up where they left off in the other room, or be able to access the hard drive on this set-top box anywhere within the home. And it has also what's called the Genie Recommend Suggestion Engine, which is a cool feature. The Genie Recommend Suggestion Engine is a tool that automatically, as long as it's turned on, will automatically track the things that you typically watch, and as a result, provide you with some other things that you may not have been aware of. So, for example, my wife loves her American Idol, loves it, and can't get enough of it. And so her Genie Recommend, obviously, suggests every other singing competition on the planet. It's a cool feature that shows and provides other shows that you like based on your viewing preferences. This is also the feature that allows you to start a show over from the beginning if you tuned in late. You forgot to record it. You turn on your Genie, you get home from dinner, you're like, oh crap, I forgot to record my show. You tune in late and you can't rewind typically, but what Genie recommends turned on, if this is a show you would typically watch, you can go back to the beginning and start and see what you missed, which is a really cool feature here and unique to the DirecTV platform. So that's the Genie. That's the primary set-top box at home. That's the one we're going to be talking about the most. That's the Cadillac, if you will, of set-top boxes. The next set-top box we're going to talk about is the Genie Mini. So the first box, 5 tuners, 1 terabit storage. The Genie Mini doesn't have any tuners in it, and it doesn't have any hard drive in it. So you may be wondering, well, Reggie, if there's no tuners and there's no hard drive, what good is that? Well, what is inside this box is software. We call this a thin client. There's software in this box, and that software communicates with the Genie in the other room and allows you to access all of the features that you have on the Genie without having the full-size Genie in the room. This thing is very small, tiny. 2 smartphones side by side, depending on the size of your smartphone. You get the new iPhone. Is 2 of those side by side. That's the footprint of this. Very tiny, hides nicely behind a flat screen TV if a customer's got a neat, on the wall installation, or out of the way on a piece of furniture. Very, very unobtrusive. Still gives the full function DVR experience, right? Still allows you to access the hard drive. It also has parental controls on it. So if this Genie Mini happens to be in the kids' room, and the mom and dad don't want the kids watching all the stuff that's on the Genie, they can, with a couple of clicks of the button, and typically the installation contractor will set this up at the time of install, we'll put the parental controls on there with the 4-digit passcode so that those kiddos can only see the content that mom and dad wanted to see, which is another great feature of the Genie Mini. And in a different situation, is not an option. So, does have an optional mounting bracket. There's a cost for that. Get with your team leader, your manager. They'll be able to disclose what the cost for the mounting bracket is. That's the Genie Mini. So those are 2 set-top boxes we're going to primarily be talking about as salespeople. This conversation is super simple. We have 2 set-top boxes. You got a primary, and then you have these Genie Minis. They can go throughout the home. And actually, the customer, if they want it, can add up to 8 Genie Minis to their account. Now, obviously, that's a lot of Genie Minis, but they can have up to 8 in their home if they want to. They won't get them all for free. We'll talk about the pricing and how that breaks out here in a second, but they can add up to 8 of these to their system, which is kind of a neat feature. The next set-top box, and second from the last that we're going to discuss here today, is the wireless Genie Mini. This functions exactly the same way as the last one did, except this one does not require a cable outlet at the location of the TV. Now, when we say wireless, I want to clarify, because I know some people get a little confused on this. Obviously, this set-top box is not battery operated, okay? So it's going to need a wire for the power cord. And it's going to have to be plugged into the back of the TV, right? HDMI or component or composite. So obviously, those 2 wires are still required. The wire that's not required is the piece of RG6 cable between the Genie and this. So the cable outlet, basically. And some rooms and homes don't have cable outlets, like garages and back patios. Now, a customer could call a wiring contractor and have them climb up in the attic and run a bunch of wire, which is typically expensive. Or they can get a wireless connection, which is the need to run that cable. Now, there is a wireless video bridge that is required, and that video bridge is $99. Okay, so this is not a free solution. When we start talking about pricing and for free and all that stuff, remember the wireless Genie Mini is going to be an upcharge, typically because it's not very common that it's needed. But if a customer really doesn't want it, that $99 is pretty cheap when you start thinking about running cable. And if it's not cheap to them, if they want to run wire in their home and pay somebody to come out and do that, it's fine. They can do that and get the wired Genie Mini. Either way, this is the solution for that customer that doesn't want to have to do that, but still wants TV in that location. So wireless Genie Mini. So those are the 3 set-top boxes, again, that are going to be in your bucket of where you go first when you're talking to a consumer. There's one other set-top box that I want to share with you today. There are a few other ones outside of these, but it comes up so infrequently that it's not really worth discussing in a one-on-one level training. So the last one that I want to talk about is the HD DVR. And the HD DVR, the part number for this on your order form, I didn't put it on the slide, but it's the HR HR24, HR24, HD DVR. This set-top box has 2 tuners in it. So instead of the 5 that's Genie's got, this is a dual tuner. It has 2 tuners in it. It's also whole home DVR compatible, but really this is an option for smaller homes. If a customer only has one TV in their home, this is the solution for them. They can get a Genie if they want to. There's going to be a cost associated with it. But primarily, if a customer only has one TV, this is going to be your default solution. It's the HD DVR. Home, it's great for small, as I said, or it could be maybe a secondary DVR and one of these and their hard drive capacity. We don't bump into those customers very often, but this could be that solution. So there's your 4. You got the Genie, you got the Genie Mini, you got the wireless Genie Mini, and you got the HD DVR HR24, which is the dual tuner DVR. Those 4, and that's it. Very simplified conversation. Hopefully in your notes you have that written down. In addition, you've got the sales guide that I sent over via email this morning. In your sales guide, you got some more pictures and some more little things to talk about in there. Feel free to flip through that with your sales manager, team leader, and they can help walk you through the different set-top boxes. But again, those are your primary set-top boxes. Now, moving on. Now let's talk about the services. So we've seen the hardware portion of it. Now let's talk about the services. When you sign up for Genie and Client, you're going to get with the service. When you go down next to ARS, which is Advanced Receiver Service, you want to write down $15. Just write down $15. I'll explain that. Advanced Receiver Service. This is what makes the Genie and the Client do all the cool stuff. What gives the customer the whole home DVR service. Gives access to the 10,000 titles on demand. Allows them to stream live TV to their tablet. If they have a tablet in their home, as long as it's connected via the CPK, they will have access to TV on their iPad inside their home and outside their home. Allows them to record all their shows while on the go, searching YouTube on your TV and Twitter and Facebook and Pandora, which is a music service out there. All of these things light up with Advanced Receiver Service. Another feature of Advanced Receiver Service is DirecTV Voice, which allows you to control your TV with your phone as opposed to control. It's a great feature. Best way to describe this feature, especially if you're talking to a customer, is to tell a story. And for me, my story when trying to how DirecTV Voice works, I use a flip phone example. And for those of you who remember flip phones, maybe some of you are too young to remember flip phones, but I remember flip phones. And back in the day, when smartphones were just starting to come out, I still had a flip phone because I'm tight and I hate spending money. So I had a flip phone for as long as I could while all my friends were getting smartphones, and they would send me text messages. If you've ever tried to respond to a text message on a flip phone, you know how big of a nightmare that was. Right? You had 10 number keys and 26 letters in the alphabet. And so you were hunting and pecking and trying to respond to your friends and send you 10 messages by the time you... Well, with DirecTV, up until not too long ago, the only way to search for shows was to take that number pad, 10 numbers, and 26 letters in the alphabet to try and search for a show. Now, with the DirecTV Voice app, which is a free app that you download to your tablet or your smartphone, it allows you to speak what you're looking for into your phone. So you talk, or you can type if you want to, but talk into your phone to pull up search results, and those results will come up on your screen or even on your phone, as long as your Wi-Fi network. Very cool feature. For a lot of folks I talk to now that have this, they don't even know where their standard remote control is. They literally operate their TV with their tablet or smartphone. So it's that cool of a feature. Lastly, when it comes to technology, again, installation training, you do not have to worry about installing anything, but with Advanced Receiver Service, to connect the customer's set-top boxes to the internet. Very important to get them plugged into the internet. And they get a free cinema connection kit, we call it. Now with the Genie, it's built in wirelessly. So if the customer's got a wireless network, boom, it's plug and play, technician set. If they don't have a wireless network, we have a wired device. That's what you see there at the top, which allows us to plug the set-top boxes into the customer's modem or their wired router if they have one. So this is the component of the game. Don't worry about installing it. They just need this to make sure they get plugged into the internet, and the installation contractor will make sure that happens. So there you have it. That's the technology. In a nutshell, we went through that fairly quickly, but those are the set-top boxes. That's the technology piece the customer will get in their home. Now let's talk about the pricing. How does all this stack up? How do I communicate with the customer how much they're building it? Well, DirecTV has a rack rate, full price, right? They got okay. And then they have a new customer offer. So for new customers, they have some pretty deep discounts to convince to sign up with us, right? To give us a shot. And we feel that if they take the time to go through this promotion, that they're going to love it so much that they will. So the current offer that we're in now, DirecTV changes this offer 4 or 5 times a year just to give us kind of something new to talk about, new for the consumer. The one that we're in right now is called the CableCrusher. And this offer is outlined in that sales guide that I sent you this morning. Now, I'm not going to go through all the components of the offer. I'm going to really kind of simplify this just so you understand what's important when talking to a customer. There are 6 different packages. Okay, just like there's 4 different receivers we talked about. We got 4 different receivers instead of 6 different packages. People ask, well, Reggie, what's the difference between the packages? Well, Select, which is on your left-hand side, doesn't have as many channels as Premier, which is on the right-hand side. Okay? So basically, the further along you go, the more channels you get. That's simple. So you get more channels. Obviously, the more channels you get, the more money it's going to cost. Cheaper per channel, but more expensive monthly for the package that you get. Majority of the time, you're going to find folks land in the choice of the extra package, but there are times where they fall outside of that. So that's really the difference. The difference is the channel lineup. Your sales guy the channel lineup for each package. You'll notice in those packages that they're all in alphabetical order. So somebody asks you, well, where's the golf channel? Well, you can scan alphabetically to find the golf channel. When you find it in bold, that means it's the first package that it appears in. Okay? So when you look and see that it's in bold, that means it's the first package that it appears in. Hopefully somebody on the call can quickly in the chat box tell me which package the golf channel appears in for the first time. If you have your sales guide in front of you, scan the channel lineups briefly for golf channel and type in the chat box which package golf channel appears in first. Ryan wins. Ryan, if I had $1 million, I'd give it to him. I don't. So, way to go. So, again, it's that simple, right? If you're brand new, you don't know anything about the content, we've got a long way. Now, pretty soon, you're going to have these memorized. Pretty soon, right, $500,000, that's a sales guy right there, Ryan. I liked it, but I don't have $500,000 either. The reality is this. You're going to get them memorized, right? You're going to get to a point where you know, without a doubt, that where these channels kind of fall. Obviously, we update that channel lineup from time to time, but now you've got a tool for that. I'm going to give you a better tool even tomorrow that's easier to read. It's got each package on one page with no confusion with the consumer. We're also going to get rid of the pricing. Pricing really doesn't apply to the customer. When you actually, tomorrow, you're going to get a copy of one of these, which is a rate card. So you're going to get a rate card, and you're going to get a channel lineup that's a little bit easier to use with the customer. You can keep that in your pitch book, whether you put it on an iPad or a tablet, have it there static in the PDF form. On the stand and put a paper.
Come on.
Print that out and have that for the consumer. It will automatically calculate all your pricing for you. Every time you have television, there's an additional charge, right? Every time you add some feature or benefit, there may be an additional charge, so each package has a different price. Tomorrow, you'll have a sheet just like this that will allow you to put your finger on the page. Once you find out what the customer wants and how many TVs they have, you'll be able to quote them not only the first year price, but also the second year price when some of the discounts roll off. Okay, so full rack rate and the first year price. So you'll get that tomorrow. We'll go over that then. Now, in addition to the basic channels that I shared with you, there's also some extra bells and whistles. I'm getting some confirmation on this, but I actually think that an NFL Sunday ticket now is across the board from Select to Premier. But for today's conversation, until I get that short up, for right now, the customer also can get 2015 NFL Sunday ticket, which is our premier football package. Right now, according to today's conversation, they have to sign up for choice and above. Okay, so if I take Select Entertainment, I won't get this extra bell and whistle. But if I sign up for choice and above, I will get 2015 NFL Sunday ticket. Now, I'm not going to go into this today. I'm a football nut. The more you get to know me, the more you get to hear about how much I love football. A huge fan of NFL, and I'm kind of sad because it's not football season right now. But when football season rolls around in August, September, right, when preseason all stuff kicks off, the customer's going to have access. If they sign up today, so when they sign up today, they don't have to wait to sign up later. They can sign up today, and when football starts up in the fall, they're going to have our premier football package. Now, a lot of people claim to have a football package. Every time you turn around, somebody has got a football package. I'm here to tell you that this is got it all. Every game live every Sunday. You got the game mix channels. You have 2 game mix channels, which allows you to watch 8 games. You've got a red zone channel. Some other folks have red zone channel too, but that's what they call their football pack. And, well, we got red zone channel. We've got NFL Network. That's our football pack. So that's just one component of our football package. Also have stat reporting update. So you have standings for, let's say, fantasy football. You got your team, and you decided to put your team's players into your television, program them into your receiver. You'll get real-time stat updates on your screen on Sunday while the teams are playing. You can get them on your phone now. You got player trackers. You can track one player. You have to have football. Basically, it takes all the games from Sunday and condenses them down to a 30-minute time block. So there's no more huddles. There's no more penalties. There's no more commercials. It's just football on crack. I mean, it's fast. Goes quick. Normally, when you watch football games, you get up and down from the shortcut. Just condenses it all down to those games that you couldn't catch during the day. In addition to that, we're going to give the customers the Sunday Ticket Max portion, which basically takes all of this and puts it on their phone. So you probably saw the Manning video, football on your phone. This is what they're talking about, taking all that content. So if you're not home on Sunday for some reason, you're on the road, you still have access to all those games. In addition to that, you get the Fantasy Zone channel, which allows you to look and get some more robust information on fantasy football. Fantasy sports, by the way. Fantasy sports is the second largest sport in the world behind soccer. But that was crazy. I heard that stuff the other day. Fantasy sports, second largest sport in the world behind soccer. That's a lot of people playing fantasy sports. All right, so lastly with the offer, so that was one bell and whistle. And the last bell and whistle we'll talk about here today is 3 months of HBO Showtime Stars and Cinemax for free. That's Photograph Beast. So that's all the packages. That doesn't start at choice. That's select, entertainment choice, extra, ultimate, premiere. Whichever one of those you take, you will also get 3 months free of your premiums, which is a $50 value, $50.99, which is kind of cool. Again, that's for all of them. Now, at the end of that promo period, it's going to roll to pay. So in month 4, unless they call and cancel, which they probably should do, it's going to roll to $50.99. If they forget and it goes on their bill, and they call in a DirecTV, say, hey, sorry, I forgot, they'll take that off. Now, if they wait 6 months and then say they forgot, it may not be quite as gracious at DirecTV. But if they, in month 4, for some reason they miss it, my recommendation, just so the customer doesn't get upset in that, is to maybe have a little tickler file with your customers. And in month 4, call them up, see how they're doing, and remind them that they need to call if they don't want to keep those. We'd love it if they kept them, right? We'd love if they kept them all. But maybe they don't. Maybe they want to keep 1 or 2 or none. Right? It'd be good for you from a customer service standpoint to make them. I'll let them know. CableCrusher offer. We talked about the hardware earlier and the pricing for this. The customer right now can get up to 4 televisions connected for free. So that would mean 1 Genie and 3 Genie Minis. Up to 4 for free. That does not include the Genie Mini wireless. All right? The wireless, they would have to pay the $99 for the wireless video bridge, and then they would get the Genie Mini for free. Okay? So up to 4 for free. If they go past 4, then there would be a cost associated with that. You get with your team leader or manager, and they'll be able to communicate that to you what that cost. For the most part, again, 85 to 90% of your customers are going to be 4 or less. The average customer with DirecTV has 2.7 TVs per household. So certainly there's some one-off situations where you got a guy off the door a while back with a single guy, one of my neighbors, has 10 TVs in his house. Okay? But that's not every day. Very rarely does that happen. First of all, that guy's not 10 TVs in one. What's he going to do with all those TVs, right? Most people, 2.7 TVs per household. Again, that's the Genie solution is for low-risk customers. We're not going to talk about risk classification because we really don't know what that is. So the consumer and find out what the risk classification is. So if it's a medium-risk customer for some reason, there may be a different situation there. Okay, your team leader, your manager is going to walk you through that. It's going to be a very similar situation. We're going to have whole home. We're going to be able to get up to 4 hours. It's going to be some good. Again, that's training for another day. Last if the customer only has one TV. If they only have one TV, then they get the HR24, the dual tuner DVR, as opposed to the 5-tuner Genie. So when we're doing our fact finding, we're talking about fact finding tomorrow on how we take all this information and turn it into a sales call. But when we do our fact finding, if we find they only have one TV in the home, we're going to make sure we don't talk about 5 tuners. We're going to talk about 2 tuners, right? Dual tuner DVR. Now, if they really want the Genie for some reason, let's say they saw it on the ad or they saw it in the paper, they can still get the Genie if they want it. One TV, they can still get it. They just have to pay a $99 upgrade fee. And again, for the customer that wants that room, I'm going to that big of a deal. Especially if they have one TV in the home, got to have the Genie. That would be their solution. Lastly, I want to put this all together. I want to really highlight, because some people, as we go through this, you don't really kind of connect the dots on how much savings there is for a new customer. And so this slide right here takes a scenario with a customer who's got 4 TVs and wants to take the extra package. This is the savings that they will see over the course of the first year, just switching to the next TV. Programming discount on customers, $33 off a month for 12 months. So if you take $33 times 12, that's $396. There's an additional closing tool in there of $110 off a month for 12 months, which is $120. NFL Sunday ticket, that value is $329. We're going to give it to them the first year for free. However, guys like me who've had it for several years, that's the price we pay, $329 for NFL Sunday ticket. So that's part of the discount. Cinema Connection Kit, that's what CCK stands for. That piece of hardware is $25. We're going to give that to them for free. The premiums, which, as we mentioned before, HBO, Showtime, Stars, and Cinemax, that was $50.99. I rounded up. 51 times 3, that's $153. And then the hardware. They're going to get a Genie and 3 clients for free. But we all know that those don't grow on trees in the back of direct parts. Right? Somebody's picking them up. They cost, and the Genie, the cost of the Genie is $299, and the client's $99 each. So if you take that 4 TVs, that's $596. And by the way, we're going to send some professional installation contractor out there to install it for the customer, right? They're going to put up a satellite antenna. Those aren't free. We're going to have them run cable. That ain't free. Fittings and connectors, those aren't free, right? Customer education, their time, energy, money, gas. That's $1,819 that DirecTV's cutting off the top to help us make a sale. And by the way, I didn't include your sales commission in there yet. So you can tack that on top of that. That's a lot of money to convince a customer to make a buying decision, change or switch to DirecTV. It's a big deal. Now be careful how you use that number. Show some training classes, and they get some new reps that run out there, and they want to say, "Hey, Michigan State, you're saying $1,819," and the prospect's like, "Holy crap! Paid $1,800 off my car purchase, but this stuff must be expensive." And while that's all real money, I would encourage you maybe not to structure it, but it's really for you to understand the opportunity. You've got one of the most recognized brands and best rated brands in America today, the largest pay TV service in the world, partnered with the largest Perfect 10 distribution contractor in the country. So, and one of the best offers in the market, right? That's all what's behind you when you're out there putting this message. So really, if you're on the number one team with the number one offer, the only reason this doesn't work, and I hate to say it, the only reason it doesn't work is you didn't work it. That's how lucrative this offer is for the consumer. So, and that's what gets me excited. Every time I see this, it gets me excited to want to talk about that message. So with that is our 101 content for general market. I'm not going to go through the Espanol offering, but that's in your sales guide as well. If you are in those marketplaces or you come across those folks that want more Spanish content than English, we have that available. A little bit different offer, different packages, different price point, but they're there. They have the extra bells and whistles too, right? At certain break points, they've got the free premiums. So if you find yourself in that marketplace, obviously you want to spend some time in your sales guide going through those packs. That's our training for today. And I am right on time. 1 minute shy of my time commitment. Is there any questions? And if there are, I'd love to get questions out in the chat box. So feel free to type your questions. While you're typing questions, let me do my plug for tomorrow. Tomorrow it's going to be same time, different links. So you want to make sure you get, when you get the meeting invite, click the link that's specific to that day. It's going to be different. Tomorrow's going to be taking what we learned today and turning this into a 9 to 20 minute sales conversation. I wish I had 45 minutes to go through this presentation with every prospective new customer. But no, right? We don't have that luxury. But we don't have that kind of time. So how do we take what we know and turn that into a message that someone can make a buying decision in a short period of time? Well, tomorrow, that's practicing performing reps. Right? We run, in the off-season, we run about 70 to 80 a day, and when at our peak, we're about 350 to 400 sales a day. Right? So we're closing 300 to 400 sales a day. From the top producers in that bucket, we take the best practices, the way that they are most effective in the field. And I'm going to share that with you for free. Kind of crazy. I don't know why I'm doing that. I think we need to start charging for this. Just kidding. Tomorrow's going to be that. A sample sales call. From start to finish, you're going to do a sample sales call on how it goes. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We got a question on the board. Let's see. You said the customer can get up to 8 clients per genie. Will all 8 work at the same time? The answer is no. They will not all work at the same time. The 45 tuners. Matter of fact, only 3 will work, but they can connect up to 8. So that'd be for a situation where you don't have people watching TV in all 8 locations all at the same time, which is typically the case. Not too many people are watching TV in 8 places all at the same time. If they are, which sounds to me more like a commercial install as opposed to residential, but if they are, then we have to install it with what's called an H25. So get with your team leader manager on that one, Israel, and right? And we'll and they can kind of walk you through how that works. But yes, you can connect up to 8. They just won't all work at the same time. Jason says 4K. If a customer has 4K television and was told that he needs an internet connection for 4K content, is that content delivered over internet or DTV dish? Had a customer inquire about a bundle with satellite because of this. So DirecTV, first of all, there's not a lot of 4K out there today. Jason, not a whole lot. It's coming, but it's not here yet. Even our content, we don't have any live broadcast 4K yet. And we're 4K, but we don't have any live broadcast 4K yet. We do have the 4K content in our on-demand content, which is probably where the confusion comes in. And as I said earlier, on-demand only comes from the customer's internet connection. VOD comes from the high-speed internet. So, yes, if they want access to our titles, our video-on-demand content, DirecTV's content, that's in 4K today, it would come via the high-speed internet connection. So, and 4K is still, again, fairly new. Not a lot of people that are producing content in 4K because it's expensive. So, Jeremy, you're welcome. Ryan, the question I get every single time I do this, can you get a copy of this training? And unfortunately, the answer is I cannot distribute this. And the reason I can is because if I was able to distribute it, I would have to have DirecTV put all their legal disclaimers all over this stuff, which is time consuming. I have to do it every time I change it. And it makes it really makes it impossible for me to deliver this content. Without disclaimers, because this is time sensitive, right? This offer will be over at some point in time. So without all that legalese and disclaimer, I cannot distribute this. I'm going to pull it back. We talked about doing some YouTube videos. We can post it down, but it's gotten a little convoluted. So for now, the only way I can do this, Ryan, is live, which is what's right here. Live in color. Because of the time sensitivity of it. I apologize for that. I would love to share with you if I could. Can't do it. So I once every 2 or 3 weeks, I keep you on the mailing list. If you want me to do this, you need to be covered. I also do live face-to-face training sessions for folks like yourself. I do a lot more than that, but 6 a year. We call them door-to-door boot camps, and we do them live and in person at hopefully a location near you. So I'll continue to pump that stuff out and keep you on the distribution list if, in fact, you are interested. So that being said, I think we got it all covered. I'm 4 minutes past my time, so I'm going to let you guys get back to selling. And I want to, and I apologize, Ryan, I wish somebody would have said that sooner. Sometimes my voice is garbled. Well, then you definitely don't want recording of this one, because that means you couldn't hear it on the recording. I will, we'll have to it's because you're going to be moving around so much. I am sitting in an office chair, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's just my phone sucks. I will do my best tomorrow to clean some of that stuff up. So I do apologize. But thanks again. I appreciate the time here today. Happy selling, and we'll talk to you